You know, it's not every day I wake up and I go, I wonder what else was on Osama bin Laden's hard drives. All it takes is one image on the internet to scroll past my feed, and next thing you know, I'm deep into a rabbit hole, which is exactly where I find myself today, right now, kind of baked. And having acquired a whole bunch of useless knowledge that I'm going to share with you now. You win again, internet. You did it. You got me to ask a ridiculous question, and not only ask the question, but follow it up and do the research. Hey, how's it going? I'm Dragon, or Great Stone to Dragon if you're not into the whole brevity thing. And I am here to show you an image that I saw yesterday that made me ask the question, I wonder what else was on Osama bin Laden's hard drives. I've never really showed a whole lot of interest in Osama bin Laden. You know, kids that grew up in the 90s, we grew up with two things, the internet and hearing the name Osama bin Laden. One of the most notorious terrorist leaders that I've known about in my lifetime had this just kind of floating around in his hard drive. I thought it was all going to be anti-American propaganda and like snuff films or something weird. You know, I don't know what it's like to be in the mind of a terrorist. I know what it's like to be in the mind of a stoner, which is I'm hungry, I want to blaze, and what video games do I have to play right now? I personally feel like you could go through anybody's hard drive and get a good feel for who they are, like mentally, probably physically, and even a little bit spiritually. And nobody wants that. I don't think anybody wants anybody to go through their hard drive because then it gets all like paranoid. Oh, I hope they don't click on that secret folder that pulls the secret string that reveals the secret compartment of the embarrassing snapshot of SpongeBob at the Christmas party. But luckily for us, the CIA didn't just go through his hard drives. They uploaded all of it, like with the exception of some like the super grotesque things. They uploaded all of it. It's on a database right now. You could just click one thing after the other and look at every picture, every video. I clicked on more of them than I'd care to share. And here's some of the highlights of the things that I learned about. Starts off pretty harmless. You know, we learned that he's a cat guy. He had a lot of cat videos that he had downloaded. You know, who doesn't love a good cat video? That's what the internet was made for, in my opinion. There's a video on there that he was a big fan of, seemed to be pretty fond of, that we all were at a time. The infamous Charlie Bit My Finger. We all loved the video. We love showing it to our friends. But did we all love it enough to want to download it and have it on hand? No, this maniac freaking did. I also had no idea that he was a crocheter. He loved to crochet, and he wasn't just looking up tutorials, like, you know, like he was trying to gauge if he wanted to get into crochet. He wasn't sitting there watching these thinking, oh yeah, maybe I could do that. And I've already got the beginner's crocheting kit in my cart. It's $39.99. I'll be here in 2 days. And then once it gets here, I can try it, give up after 20 minutes and then not touch it for 6 years and then end up throwing it away. Like we all have with our beginner crochet kits. This guy was downloading them. He was committed. He was like, all right, I need to learn how to make some critters. I need to learn how to make a striped hat, and I need to learn how to make an Afghan stat. And this beckons the question to me, and maybe it's just because I'm a little bit baked, but it's like, you know, you've asked the question, well, maybe if Hitler had gotten into art school like he wanted to, do you think maybe like we never would have had World War II? Maybe if Bin Laden would have gotten better with his crocheting, maybe we'd still have the World Trade Center. I don't know. It's just a question that came up. I have no idea. This is food for thought, man. He also was apparently like kind of a weeb, really into anime, had downloaded just a buttload of anime on his computer too, and a full guide to Command and Conquer's Tiberium Sun, which is a game that I loved playing. This guy must have had like crazy time on his hands, crocheting, the weird porn, the anime binging, and a full guide to an RTS video game. Those can take days, weeks. I personally thought terrorist ringleaders would have less time on their hands. Something else that he apparently was very fond of that I found quite interesting is that he apparently loved watching documentaries on himself. He had downloaded documentaries that people have made about him and would sit there to watch them and be like, bro, I'm freaking rad, dude. While crocheting, obviously. What else are you going to do when you're binge watching documentaries about how much of an evil person you are, then make your grandma something sweet? All of this aside, all of this weird wackiness aside, there was one thing that stood above the rest that blew my mind. And it's this circa 2000s image of nostalgia that just smacked me in the face. Are you ready? Look at this. What we have here is Canadian pop rock sensation Avril Lavigne standing next to Stephen Anthony Lawrence, better known as my man Beans. I grew up loving the Even Stevens. That show was so funny to me. And there's Beans standing next to Avril Lavigne, and it was saved on the hard drive of one of the most notorious terrorist leaders of all time. Why? That's what I want to know. I don't want to know who. I don't know what. I want to know why. Is he a big Even Stevens fan? He could be. I don't know. He likes to crochet. What? The dude's an enigma. Well, he's dead, but he was an enigma. Of all the possible pictures that could have been saved, he went with Avril Lavigne's. Notable things about this image that I just find amusing. We could play Count the Bracelets and play for a lot longer than 2. And that seems like too many. The only way you could top that high score is if you played Count the Bracelets on Johnny Depp. We have Avril Lavigne dressed like what I believe is like the skater boy aesthetic of the time, but really it just looks like you're like in a ska band looking for your next place to shoot heroin, you know? But it's Avril Lavigne. I can't say that. She's awesome. I have no qualms with Avril Lavigne. But then you pan over to my man Beans. What a swagger hound, honestly. Like rocking the Buffs jersey, rocking, I believe those are jorts. If I had to put my finger on it, they're probably jorts. And nothing screams it's in the middle of the 2000s like a chain wallet. I know. When I was in middle school, I wanted a chain wallet so bad. I had a chain wallet. It was so lame, but I thought I was the coolest kid in school because I got to go into a Spencer's once and buy a chain wallet. I was a tool. We were all tools in the blunder years, but you know what? I don't think I ever pulled off a chain wallet near as cool as my man Beans. Look at him. And then he clips it right next to this just like glassed out belt buckle. I've never he looks like he's straight out of 5th grade, but also could buy my house. You know, I don't know. That's a power move. It's a power move in my opinion. Like nothing but respect. All of this bringing it back around to the fact, why the hell does Osama Bin Laden have this on his hard drive? Maybe Osama Bin Laden was a skater boy. And Avril Lavigne said, see you later, boy. He wasn't girly enough for her. Now she's a superstar and he's dead. Yeah, I don't know. I got baked and I saw this picture and it brought me here. Thanks. Dragon abides.